Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do a little bit something different. I don't know about you guys, but I woke up this morning feeling like there was absolutely nothing in my closet that I wanted to wear. The few things that I thought I might want to wear, of course, were in the dirty clothes. And so I just decided I really want to make a new dress. So it's past bedtime, and I've got a pattern picked out that I have done before, and I thought, why don't I challenge myself to try and do a dress in one night after bedtime and try to get myself in bed before midnight so that I'm not a zombie mom, a mom-bee tomorrow for my kids. And in order to do this, I did actually already pick out a pattern that I really like, that I made some modifications to before, and that I thought I might make some additional modifications to based on how I felt about the previous design and how it turned out. So let's dive right in. I have this lovely fabric here, and it's kind of a lovely t-shirt material, very light and flowy, that I think will be really just comfy around the house, comfy out and about. It'd be a wonderful spring and summer dress. I'm hoping it's going to be great for the fall too, with maybe some boots and leg warmers and a nice chunky sweater. Right now we're just kind of getting into the fall weather, so it's cold in the morning and then, hot as Hades by like 10. So also something that will work with that, and I'm hoping that this will be that dress for me. To that end, it is a Hollywood pattern. It is Hollywood 1902. Let me pull this out here and show you. I've made this pattern before, and I've got the pattern on my, never mind her wrinkles. I didn't iron her because she's dirty. So I did make this pattern before, and as you can see, I did make a couple of different adjustments. I did take the collar away here. I decided I did want it to be collarless, very easy, simple summer dress. I changed the sleeves to a tulip sleeve before. This one has like a power sleeve, girl, a power sleeve. And I like a good power sleeve as much as the next gal, but sometimes you really just want something kind of really simple, and I think tonight I'm going to do the same thing. I don't know that I'm going to do the tulip sleeve again. I do like it, but I think I'm just going to go with a very traditional sleeve, like maybe a little tiny puff cap, simple, easy peasy. I do think I'm going to leave the collar off again because I actually do really like how this one falls. I did do a little bit of cutting to make it do this, and I think this time I'll add a little button or hook and eye here because I tend to always pin this dress. I should just add a hook and eye. Note to self. But otherwise, the things I like about this dress, it's really comfy. It was very easy. I did have to take the top up a little bit, but I didn't have to knit the sides in at all for two reasons. One, because it happens to actually be a great fit for me, which is kind of hard. I tend to be a little bit harder to fit, I feel like. But two, it is a wrap dress. And so, you can kind of tighten or loosen it with that little tie. The thing that I don't like about this one, or not that I don't like, that's the wrong thing to say. The thing I want to do differently is this pattern is like an apron front dress. It's a flat front, and I think what I would like to have is a bit more movement in the front skirt. I think I want to go with like a circle skirt design. I think that's what I want to do, so that because it will be cut in this like half moon shape here, once it's pulled up, it'll create nice draping across the front, add a lot more width and movement to the bottom of the skirt and make it more flowy instead of very flat. But it will do that without having to add a bunch of gathers across the front, which I don't want because I don't want to really add bulk around my tummy. So that is the goal. Make this lovely lady regular sleeves, circle skirt bottom, keep the top the same, one night. We'll see how it goes. Okay, let's get started. But first, oh yeah. Makes me happy. Okay, let's set this to the side so I don't knock it over. So for this pattern, one of the key pieces is the gathering across the front, the bust area. And so I'm gonna mark out When I originally did this pattern, I went ahead and instead of doing the gathers on top and bottom, I just like cut right through to the end notch here on the pattern, and I actually think that worked out very, very well. And so I'm going to do that again. So in order to do that, I do want to know exactly where I need to go on my fabric. So I'm just going to use chalk to mark out my line. And then when I remove this pattern piece, I'll just go ahead and cut right up to that line right there. Right, and when I am sewing jersey, a stretchy material, any material that is stretchy, I do two things. One, I make sure I give it like a little bit of a tug while I'm sewing so that the fibers have been stretched a little bit apart, and that way when it relaxes afterwards and it takes the stitches with it, I've kept and maintained that stretch within the fabric itself, so that when I'm putting it on, I'm not stretching material against a rigid stitch, which would then cause the stitch to break and ruin the garment. The other thing that I do is I don't ever back stitch at the top of darts, and honestly that's not actually just a jersey material, that's any material. If I'm doing a dart into something that is coming down to a point, I don't back stitch it. Instead I stitch all the way through, I leave a tail at the end, and then I do a small knot, and that prevents you from getting a really big pucker at the bottom of your lovely dart, which you don't want, especially like in the top of a garment where you can really, they become very noticeable. So got the end there on that dart. I have my long tail, and then all I have to do is, let me get this pin out of my way. Just do a little knot. 1, 2, 3 times for luck. Give it a quick snip, and it's good. And then I did stretch it while I was sewing, so you can see I still have stretch in the material because the seam was not, or the stitch was not put in while the material was at its relaxed stage. It was pulled taut, and so that seam, that stitch is also flexible. So there's 2 ways that you can do a gather. You can put it on your sewing machine on the widest stitch, do 2 lines and then gather it up, or you can do a whip stitch by hand. When you do any kind of gather on a seam, just make sure your other side is like anchored. Otherwise you could just zip it right out of the end, and then you'll be really super frustrated. Not because I've ever done that. Here I have a beautiful gather underneath. When I sew it, I'm going to sew with a flat section down and the gathers up, because I would rather have the needle coming over the top of the gathers. If I do the gathers down, what can happen is the feed dogs, or that little foot underneath here that helps pull the fabric through and kind of work the fabric in, can really ruffle and move these, and I don't want that to happen. I want them to stay exactly where I want them, where I've pinned them, where I've told them they must be. I don't know about that. I feel like they're a little too long. I think I might cut them off and make them a little bit shorter. Don't you think? I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make them a little bit shorter Okay, because this wasn't a traditional circle skirt and I did have these sections at the end that were not quite the same length down here, I'm going to go ahead and remove these corner pieces. This will be my seam in the back of the dress, and then I'm actually going to leave these little sections in the front right here because this will be what folds over and allows me to have a nice hem on the front for the dress. So it is officially like 12:15. We started about 8:45, 9 o'clock-ish, and I'm not done, which I was a little bit worried about. I was very hopeful that I could totally get this knocked out by this point, but I don't even have the skirt on the bodice yet. I do have the bodice basically done with the sleeves on and everything. I have my 2 strips for my wrap ties together and flipped. I'm both so close and also so far away. Once the skirt's on, it's a matter of just flipping seams and hems. So it's not like it's that far, but it's a lot of material, and I'm wondering if I just like power through, since it's supposed to be a dress in a night, or if it becomes like a dress in 2 nights, or a dress in a night and a nap time. I'm not entirely sure. I'm debating kind of trying to pin on the skirt onto the bodice and then see where we're at and see how overwhelming it seems, and then go from there. Let's see what we can do. We'll pin it on. We'll see, right? We'll just see. Okay guys, so I am back in the morning after what I was trying to do my dress in the night. It was a fail to complete my task. I did a video update, I think it was like 12:15, and I just wanted to get the skirt on and see where I was at from there, and then maybe consider getting a hem on. And about 12:30, after I had finished getting the skirt pinned to the bodice and sewn onto the bodice, like did my quick little last back stitch, I had one of those like bad mom moments because it's 12:30 at night and I totally woke up one of my small humans and realized at that point like we were done for the night, because my sewing room is actually kind of in the room next door from the kids' bedroom. So last night I did not get it done. I did get this far. This is where I'm at. I've got the bodice on. I've got the skirt attached to the bodice. We've got sleeves on the bodice, but I don't have a hem around the top. I don't have the side turned over. I don't have the ties put on or the hem along the bottom. So unfortunately, it was a fail. But I think that's okay, because honestly, overall, I really am loving how it is turning out, even though it is not done this morning and I can't just wear it out the door this morning. But I think it's going to be good, and it actually isn't that far from being done. So I think overall, it's still pretty good, even though I didn't get it done in the time I wanted. I have to get small humans ready for the day and feed them breakfast, but I thought I'd give you an update since I didn't get it done last night to let you know where we ended up. So I'll see you back here, maybe during nap time.
Let's just get out our scissors and whack off some of the end of the fabric. What's the worst that could happen?